Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a topic that pretty much affects everyone, everywhere: money.
That's right. It's, often complicated, lots of unspoken rules, maybe some stress around it too.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about, well, how we talk about it, the challenges, and even how different cultures see something like debt.
Yeah, and our source for this, it's actually an English learning resource focusing on everyday money talk. Gives a really interesting perspective.
A unique lens, you could say,
Yeah.
on economic stuff, personal finance, things that might be affecting you right now.
So our mission really is to pull out the key takeaways, the important bits of language, the common phrases.
And those surprising cultural attitudes, especially about debt. We want you to walk away feeling, better informed.
Definitely. So let's dive in. Where do we start?
Okay, first up, let's set the scene with a big economic concept: recession.
Right. So a recession, basically, it's when a country's economy isn't doing well. It's making less money overall.
And that has real consequences, doesn't it? It's not just numbers on a page.
Not at all. You see widespread impacts, uh, people losing jobs, lots of them sometimes.
Companies might close, go bankrupt even.
Exactly. And people tend to spend less money, which makes sense. Stock prices often fall too.
And the source we looked at, it actually points to the US as an example of these kinds of impacts happening.
Yeah, brings it home. And while recession is the big picture, the personal side of
That
that,
often comes down to one word: broke.
right. The source defines it simply. Having no money, it directly links that big economic downturn to, what happens to individuals, the personal fallout.
And the material uses this really vivid scenario to illustrate it, almost like a little play.
It does. There's this character, Charlie. He needs money, so he goes to see, wait for it, Mr. Corleone.
Yeah. And, let's say unconventional choice for a loan. Kind of hints at desperation, maybe.
Totally. And
Eh.
Charlie's in a real bind because of the recession. He's lost his job.
And everything's piling up, right?
Yeah.
Credit cards.
Yeah. Credit card bills, car payments, the mortgage. And on top of all that, his son's college tuition is due.
Oof, that's a lot. He's clearly struggling, so he asks Mr. Corleone for help, for a loan.
But here's the twist, and it really shows how deep a recession can cut. Mr. Corleone, he says he's broke too.
No way, even him.
Yeah. Lost half his money in the stock market crash, apparently. It just highlights, even seemingly powerful figures aren't immune. It shows the severity.
Wow. That's quite an anecdote, and it brings up some key financial words we should probably clarify.
Good idea. First, just loan. Simple definition.
Yeah.
Borrowing money you plan to pay back.
Standard stuff. Then mortgage.
Right. That's a specific type of loan. It's the one you use to buy a house or, property.
And the source mentioned the T is silent, right? So mortgage.
Exactly. Mortgage. And the last term from that section was tuition.
Ah, yes, tuition. That's the money you pay for schooling, usually college or university.
Yeah. The material notes, in some places you might even pay tuition for public schools. Depends on the country.
Okay, got it. So beyond those terms, the source also points out some really useful, like everyday phrases for when things get tough.
Mm-hmm. One is, hit me pretty hard.
Right, meaning something had a strong negative effect on you.
Yeah, and the examples show it works for different kinds of bad news.
Right.
Like, my divorce hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
That's emotional.
Or even physical, like this cold has hit me pretty hard, just means it had a big negative impact.
Exactly. Very versatile for expressing difficulty.
Okay, now flipping it. If you want to offer help, what's a good way?
The source suggests a simple, polite classic, what can I do for you?
Ways indirect, but still considerate.
And if you're the one needing something, maybe interrupting someone. Polite ways for that too.
Like, I'm sorry to trouble you.
Yeah, or can I trouble you? Perfect for softening the interruption. Like, can I trouble you for a moment? Just need a signature.
Shows respect for their time. Makes sense.
Totally. There's another great phrase too. On top of all that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It means in addition to or also, right?
Exactly. And it works for piling on bad stuff or good stuff. It adds
Hello?
emphasis.
So the example for bad stuff was like, lost my job, car stolen, and on top of all that, my girlfriend left me. Really paints a picture.
Ouch. Yeah. Definitely conveys things are rough. But it can be positive too.
Right, like great birthday, friends visited, and on top of all that, I got a ton of presents.
See? It just adds that extra layer, emphasizes the accumulation. Really useful phrase.
Okay, so we've covered terms, phrases. Now let's get into something really fascinating. How different cultures viewed debt.
Ah, yes. This was eye-opening. The source contrasts North America, specifically mentioning Canada, with parts of Europe.
So in North America, the view is what? Debt is just normal.
Pretty much. Common, even seen as necessary sometimes, especially for big things.
Why necessary, though?
Well, it's tied to this idea of a credit history. You need to show you can borrow and repay money responsibly to get bigger loans later.
Like for a car, or especially a mortgage for a house.
Exactly. Without that history, it's tough. Which is why, the source notes, banks often push credit cards onto young people, like 18-year-olds starting university.
Give them free gifts, stuff like that, just to get them started building that credit history.
Right. It's part of the system there. Now, compare that to Europe. The source uses Switzerland as a key example.
And the attitude there is very different.
Oh, completely. Debt is viewed much more negatively, with a lot of caution.
How does that play out practically?
Well, the example given was franking. To get a credit card with, say, a 500 franc limit,
Yeah.
you might need to actually deposit more than that, like 700 francs, into an account first as security.
Wow. So you need to prove you have the money before you can even potentially borrow it on the card.
Precisely. It's a fundamentally different philosophy about spending and owing.
That is a stark difference, and you can see how these different attitudes would affect people and maybe even whole economies, especially during tough times like a recession.
Absolutely. It shapes financial behavior, resilience. The general advice that kept coming up in the material: handle your money carefully. Avoid debt if you possibly can.
Seems like sound advice regardless of culture, but the context really matters.
It really does.
So quite a journey we took there. From specific money words and phrases.
Through to those everyday expressions for life's bumps.
And ending with these really revealing differences in how cultures approach debt. It's clear money talk is, well, it's complicated.
It's so much more than just the numbers, isn't it? It's tangled up in language, daily life, social norms.
Definitely. Which brings us to a final thought, something for you to maybe mull over.
Yeah, in a world where economies are always shifting, always connected, what does it really mean when debt isn't just a burden?
But sometimes, in some places, it's almost required to participate economically, while in other places, it's this huge cultural taboo.
It's a big question, something to think about as you navigate your own relationship with money.